Guys, deluded you. Now, allegedly, reports are saying, well, we already knew that Lyon wanted Giroud, whether it was part of Lacazette's deal, whether it was just outright, or yeah, whatever. Their president has now come out. I'm not going to attempt to say his name. Their president has now come out and said, yeah, he did want Giroud, but Wenger said no, and it's given me a lot to think about. And I thought, let me make a vid. So, firstly, it shows Wenger's still very much fairly loyal to Giroud. We know for a number of years Wenger resisted the temptation for signing a striker when we needed one for years. When there was some point people were saying all we need is a striker. We've got the defence, we've got the midfield. All we need is a striker, a real number 9 that's gonna bag 20 plus. We heard that for years. Wenger used to say no, Giroud's good enough. Giroud kept the 9 shirt. Not 9. Well, you know what I mean. In 9 is in the sense that he's playing in the striker role, and he bared the blunt of it. I've already told you guys in previous vids, go and check. I'm not going over it again, in the sense that Wenger kind of put Giroud in a position to fail when you told us Giroud was coming to complement Van Persie, and then told us he was to replace him. And yeah, I mean, in the last 12 to 18 months, Wenger's finally accepted that this is the role for Giroud. Come off the bench, rotate into the side, get your 10 plus goals in the league, because Giroud's shown he can chip in, but he's just not good enough to ultimately lead the line and get us over the line. And yeah, in recent weeks, especially considering to the end of the season, he somewhat embraced that. I don't want to say Giroud embraced that, but Wenger embraced that. Like I said, he's fairly loyal to the guy, and he's somewhat accepted it. Even towards the end of the season, you were seeing him somewhat get rid of put Welbs ahead of him, who's fairly, it's fair to say he is considerably less clinical. The stats show it than Giroud, but he's more central to our general play. Pace is a big thing, or I believe, in my opinion, if we could play with pace, because there has to be, I call it tick-attack. It's not Barcelona's football, and we haven't played fluid in a while, but if you're going to play the sort of football we played of seasons before last, for me, there has to be purpose to the play, because in our too many times you've seen Arsenal just playing around for the sake of it, teams then just sit behind, pick us apart, and you've ultimately got to be ruthless. And it's just nice to just score goals on top of playing nice, because if you play nice, it doesn't matter. You might not get the 3 points. You don't get 3 points, you don't win the league, you don't win trophies. So yeah, no one is remembered for playing nice football per se. So you saw Welbeck used, because he can run in behind. We know when Giroud plays, he can contribute in terms of general plays, got decent technique and passing and things like that, but we sacrifice a lot. We sacrifice the run in behind. He's got the hold-up play, but we sacrifice someone coming deep and turning, like Alexis did through the middle, or someone turning at pace, helping us stretch on the counter. Giroud doesn't give us any of that. And on top of that, we only play to Giroud's strengths when he's not on the pitch. We only decide to cross the ball when Giroud's on. When Giroud's on, we don't want to cross. We're not the biggest of sides already. We don't make use of free kicks and corners, in my opinion. I've told you guys how much I hate when we just do this short thing and it gets chucked out and they counter us. So yeah, it's nothing to do with Giroud really in that sense. So he's just not he's someone that can come off the bench and compliment, but he just can't start. To a degree, I rate Giroud more in the sense that I'm thinking about it now, in the sense that so much going against him, so much adversity, and he's still getting decent numbers, okay numbers. I'm not talking in regards to being a world-class striker or the striker we need. I've made that clear, but he's getting okay numbers. And I've got to give credit where it's due, man. Giroud's a good player. It's just down to Giroud. If Giroud wants to sit down for a minute, with the World Cup in mind, with just wanting to play, because I'll give it to Giroud, he might not be the best striker, but he's got the mindset of one in the sense that he wants to play. He's always in Wenger's office, angry and things like that. It's just a case of, does Giroud, one, he has to accept the challenge of Lacazette, and with Lacazette, other people have to get moved around. We know Arsenal, we like to shuffle and change our attacking options, but ultimately only 11 players can play. So he has to fight for his. It's not just Giroud. The likes of Theo have to fight for shirts. If other people, I know we've long heard of the Lamar stories, etc. If he was to come in, people, whether he's going to play centre middle or on the flank, someone's going to have to fight for their shirt. So yeah, if you a team that wants to win titles or a team that's a big club, you have to do stuff like that. It's just down to Giroud. Giroud has to be selfish in the sense that he's 30, 31. 2019 his contract's up. He's got the World Cup next year. I know Deschamps likes him, and it's well publicised how the France fans booed him and things like that. But you have to wonder, will he still go if he doesn't play? If you're a better man, you'd probably say maybe, but you can't be that sure, because he's not one of them outstanding talents where you bring regardless. He's very much down to form and things like that. And you've got Lacazette, who hasn't been involved in the France fold as much as he wants to. Say Lacazette, I hope he comes. Let's let him at that. But let's just say Lacazette hits a decent amount of numbers. He gets into the pecking order ahead of Giroud. Giroud doesn't go. So if I'm Giroud, with what I said, he's 31, his contract's up. He needs to think about his next move. I'd be asking some real questions of myself, because I'd be trying to play as many games as I could, because you could argue this is his last World Cup. You could argue he doesn't go to the next one. So yeah, guys, the Lagoon, I'm signing out. I mean, in regards to being linked with Lyon, just thought I'd make this vid. We know Giroud's linked with not just Lyon, he's linked with he was linked with Hammers, pardon me, he was linked with Everton, he was linked with quite a few sides, so only he will know. I mean, he flew out on tour, he's very coy on his future on tour. Wenger's very coy. Wenger's, well, if we believe the reports I'm talking about, he's rejected moves for him. Other clubs have been sniffing. It's important to remember nothing's official. Dortmund are allegedly dropping interest in regards to Wenger's stance on Giroud. So yeah, who knows? Until September the 1st or August the 31st, however they do the transfer window now, everything's up in air and everything's a maybe thing. Personally, I believe he can go for the right price. But I on one hand, I do believe that you have to keep someone that, of course, he can't get us over the line. But Arsenal, we need people that are gonna, sorry about that, gonna consistently get numbers. I mean, Giroud's gonna get double figures. Alexis is gonna get near enough crazy figures. Other guys have to chip in. Theo, if he's here, you guys know my feelings on Theo. I ain't gonna say nothing. He's got to produce a similar season to he had last year. The midfielders have got to score goals. Giroud, not Giroud. Ozil's got to replicate them 12 goals and definitely better than them 9 assists, but 12 goals. Because I believe we should be scoring more goals generally throughout our side. Back in the days, well, not even back in the days, we've had worse players, but you could argue collectively throughout the side we'd score more. And this is one of the best sides we've had of recent years. So seeing is believing. But yeah, guys, the Lagoon, I'm signing out. Just thought I'd bring you that Giroud's the president of Lyon's allegedly said he tried to sniff for Giroud, and Wenger said no. I'm signing out, guys. Thanks for watching.